2, 1, 6, all of these are significant. So this would have been 4 significant figures here. The only thing is if you have a 0. Now the 0 thing, let me just point out, if you see the zeros at the front, they are not significant. So if I see something like this, these zeros at the front are not significant. At all times, all digits are significant. The only thing we worry about is the zeros. So the zeros at the front, they are never significant. When you see zeros at the back and there is no decimal point or anything, they are not significant as well. Zeros become significant when they come between. So if we have 1, 3, 0, 4, this 0 that is between other significant figures, for example, there is one significant figure there, there's another significant figure there, and the 0 is between them, then this 0 becomes significant. All right? So that is how the significant figures comes in, right? The zeros, that's how the 0 comes in terms of whether or not it is significant. It comes between. And there is a special case. If it comes out, I'll let you know when a decimal point can let the zeros be significant. But definitely, the first significant figure is never a 0. So let us go through this. For this question here, we're going to put the number of significant figures on these green spots that I'm putting here. We're going to be putting the number of significant figures. What I want everybody to do now is to type in your answers. What do you think A to 2 significant figures is? What do you think the B1 to 2 to X amount of significant figure? What is it? What would be the response here? All digits are significant except 0, which may or may not. This 0 is in the case of it is significant because it is between other significant figures. So I'm checking off. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. All of these are significant. So we have 5 significant figures for that. Remember, guys, I want you to type in your answers. All right. Respond in the text chat right there. So we have 5 significant figures for A. Now, B situation, zeros does not start as significant figures. So the first significant figure we have in the B situation is not the zeros. The first significant figure is the 1, then the 5, then the 6, and then the 9. So we only have 4 significant figures here because the first significant figure was the 1. Zeros will never be the first significant figure. So we're expecting that you will type in 4 significant figures for that. All right, so I trust that you would have seen that. If you have a question to ask, you can ask it. So we're looking at 5 significant figures for A and 4 significant figures for the other one. Excellent going, Grace. I see you're having a nice answer there. As soon as you come, guys, subscribe to the channel and hit the likes, all right? Let's look at this one. So we also would have some rounding off to do in the exam, rounding off. So we want to round off the following to the decimal places that are stated. So we want to round off this to 4 decimal places, right? Remember, the first decimal place is the first digit after the point. We don't care what it is, right? So we're talking about decimal places. The first digit to the right of the decimal point, because we're looking at it going that way. The moment you pass the decimal point, this is the first decimal place. This is the second decimal place. This is the third decimal place. This is the fourth decimal place. This is the 5th decimal place. So as soon as you step in the decimal section, the first digit is actually in the first decimal spot. So for this figure that we have over here, we are supposed to round off to the 4th decimal spot. Let us identify the digit that is occupying that 4th spot. I'm going to put it in green. 7 is in the 4th spot. So the 4th decimal spot, there's a 7 there. But we're not going to just write our answer to the 7. Remember the rounding off principle? You would have to look to the digit to the right of that. So we're going to look to the digit to the right of the 7. There's a 6. So let us look at the categories. There are 2 conditions. When you are rounding off and you look to the right, if the digit to the right is in the 0 to 4 category, we're going to leave this spot. We're not going to trouble this spot. But if the number right beside it is in the 5 to 9 category, we will add 1 to that spot. Definitely 6 is in the 5 to 9 category. So the number 7 spot will go up by 1 to 8. What's the answer? The answer becomes 0.0088. Remember though, do not use a 0 to hold the other numbers that comes after the spot. If you do, you will have more than the required decimal places. So if you notice, if you're asked to round off to 4 decimal places, you should have 4 digits after the decimal point. Hence, we have this. Check it out. There are 4 digits after the decimal point. 1, 2, 3, 4. No more, because we only need 4 decimal places as stated. Type in your comments, type in the questions that you want to ask. All right. All right. All right. I'm going to talk to this person is Reed. So Reed, you're going to hear me. I want you to type, just type, what is the issue you're having? Reed, I think it's Isaiah Reed. All right, Isaiah Reed, you could type whatever the question is. Ask the question in the chat. I will respond to you. I'm actually waiting for you to respond. All right? Come on, Isaiah. So, Isaiah. All right, Isaiah, I'm just giving you a minute to respond. Come on. All right, whenever you respond, I'll go back to that section, but we're moving. All right, so we're looking at the second question. So the second question says here, 0.487 here, right here, 89. We want to round this off to the nearest hundredth, and the TH is there. So we want to take note of the TH, right? We have to take note of the TH. All right. All right. All right, let's go. So we are rounding off. That's what we're doing. So the hundredth, the nearest hundredths, guys, you're going to have to remember some little things, and I'm going to put them here for you. You're going to have to remember some little stuff. Look at this. Push this aside. Whenever you have so I'm kind of quick teaching. Whenever you have a decimal, so I'm just putting some numbers here. Now I'm just going to name some of them. This one here, let me change the marker, is in the 10th spot. So the first one is in the 10th spot. You need to make note of this. The second one is in the 100th with the TH spot. Then the next one is in the 1000th with the TH. Then the next one is in the 10 of 1000th with the TH. And then the next one is in the 100 of 1000 with the TH. And then the next one is in that million with the TH. So make note of this so that when a question comes and asks about the 100th, you know where that you should stop. Because that is the thing, knowing where you should stop. So this one now talk about the 100th. Look where the 100th is. The 100th actually means the second number in your decimal. Look, the first one, the first number in this is a 1. The 9 is in the first spot, and we call that the 10th. And the second spot is a 4. We call that the 100th. So 100th is the second spot in your decimal system, which means that we are going to identify the 8. The 8 is in the 100th. All right, so the 8 is in the 100th spot. And then you're going to round off that 8. But you're going to have to look to see what is the number to the right. It's a 7. Check it out, that's a 7. So when you're rounding off, if the number to the right is in the 5, see here, if it is in the 5 to 9 category, we add 1 to the spot. And you can see that the number to the right is in the 5 to 9 category, which means we'd have to add 1 to that spot and change it from 0.48 to 49, because we're going to add 1 to the spot because the number to the right is in the 0 to 9 category, is in the 5 to 9 category. So we have 0.49 as the answer. And this is rounding up to the nearest 100th. And remember we said 100th is the second decimal place. Right here would have told you that 100th is the second decimal place. All right, the next rounding off says that we want to round off to 3 significant figures. So significant figures coming back again. And I will remind us that all digits are significant except 0, which may or may not be significant. All digits are significant except 0, which may or may not be significant. Whenever your 0 come between, it is significant. So you could see that the 0, this 0 is significant because it is between other significant figures. It is between the 4 and the 6. All right, very good, Isaiah. Right, that's what I'm saying. Very good answer, Isaiah. So then let's look at this one now. 3 significant figures. Let's write which digit is in that 3rd spot. Which digit is in that 3rd spot? Let me blow this up a little bigger for us. The digit that is occupying the 3rd significant spot is 6. So then we're focusing on the 6, but we're going to have to round off, so we're going to have to look next door. The number next door is a 5. Oh, so 5 is in the category of, remember, there are 2 categories. If the number to the right is in the 0 to 4 category, we leave the spot. But if the number to the right is in the 5 to 9 category, we add 1. And definitely this is in the 5 to 9 category, which means that the answer is going to be 40.7. So we're going to add 1 to that spot and change it to 7. So we are rounding up right now, 40.7. Check it out. So I'm going to put the response over here, 40.7. Very good. Very, very good. There it is. Now let's look on this other question here. All right, let's follow through. I want everybody, very good going, Grace Carr. I want everybody to focus on this question, read it, and then use a diagram to help you. And when I said use a diagram, when you read this question, you're going to realize that they're going to be asking some stuff. So we could use a diagram to help us. So I'm going to put what's going on. We're told that it says one day Mark leaves home and walks 8.8 kilometers from point P to Q. He then walks 2.9 kilometers from Q to R and 1.2 kilometers from point Q to point R, right? All right, I think I double up that, so let me fix that. I think this is, he then walks a 2.9 from Q to R, and then 1 point that from R to S. So this should be R to S, yeah? So let me fix this. This is R to S, okay? And then finally, he walks 4 point that from S back home. Very good, very good. So we are looking to, all right, let me set up this for us. Marks leave home and walks that to P. All right, so we have some situation here. You leave home and move from that to P. And then you would have moved from P. So I'm just making up a quick little journey like that. So he would have left home. He left home. Let me go back. Right, so he left home. So what, if you want to put a diagram, you could quickly put a diagram there. So he left home. So Mark leaves home and walks 8 point that to P. 8.8. So this is P. And then it says that he moved from P to Q. So he's gonna move from P to Q. And this is from P to Q, 2.9. And then you're gonna move from Q to R. So we're gonna put on, I could just draw this. So it's gonna be from Q to R. So let's call this R. So from Q to R, there's a 1.2. And then they said he walked 4.2 from R back home, all right? So he goes, mom, and he went back home. And then this is the 4.2. So just look at the idea. You're going to create something like this, all right? So you move from home to P, P to Q, Q to R, and R right back home. You went back home. So you could see the little journey moving around, all right? Then now, the question says, calculate the total distance Mark traveled. The total distance Mark traveled is simply adding up all the movements. He left home. Let me mark the spot. He left his home. He went to P. Then he left P. He went to Q. He left Q. He went to R. And then from R, he went back home. So all you have to do is to add up all of these numbers here. So we're going to line them up and add them up. All right. So we're talking about, we could start with 8.8, 2.9, 1.2, 4.2. So we are adding up all of those distances, right? You're adding up all of those distances. Now, if you know how to add, then you're fine. Remember, all you have to do is just to put the numbers together. Remember that you're not using calculators in your exam. That's grade 8. So you will be required to set up these, set it up just as how you see it set up there on the board. And then you add them to get your answer. So let us go. 8 plus the 9, that is going to give us a 17. Plus 2, that's a 19. And then plus 2 more, that's a 21. So we're going to put down the 1. Let me put up this up more. Let me draw this line up more. So we'll put down the 1 and carry the 2 to the other column. Then we're going to be adding up everything. 2 plus 8, that's 10, plus 2, that's 12, plus 1, that's 13, plus 4, that's 17. So you write here 17, and you put back that decimal point. So your decimal point will be lined up. So your decimal point will be lined up like that. So the answer you're looking for, as you could see, is 17.1 kilometer that they traveled. All right, very good. Very good, Georgia. Very good, very good. Very good, Isaiah. We're going to add. So you put it together and then you see this is what we're dealing with. And you will get some question like this to deal with, right? So if a diagram is there, you look at it. If not, create your own diagram sometime so that you could see what's going on. But definitely you're adding up the distances. Let's look at the next question that followed, that same one. This question says the next day, John makes a similar journey, but this time he leaves from point R and travels 5.7 back home. Show in your diagram what distance Mark, I would say, John or Mark travels, all right? All right, so you have to be reading, you know, you have to be reading. You have to be reading. So we're talking about John. All right, this is actually Mark here. Same Mark, all right? Same person, same journey. All right, so what we're saying is now, they're saying that on this new thing that he did the other day, let me minimize this so we could look at it. They are saying to us that, listen, he left his home and he traveled to P still, same 8.8. And then he traveled from P to R, the same 2. Because when they said a similar journey, you want to appreciate that the similar means same. But they are saying when he reached here, he just went back home. That's the thing. From R, he went back home. And then now, this is 5.7 this time. All right, so he went back home, and this is now 5.7. So this is the new journey that we're talking about. That is the new journey that we're talking. The next day, Mark makes a similar journey, but this time from R. All right, so he leave from R and travels 5.7 back home. So this is the diagram. They said showing in the diagram, right? What distance did Mark travel this time? So we have our diagram to show what went on. There it is. And then we want to show the distance he traveled. Now this time you're going to be adding up 8.8 plus 2.9 plus 5.7. We're adding up this time. So when you add up those this time, for the new one, double check it. Double check it, everybody. Check the distance that we have. We're going to be adding up everything. Now, let's go for it. Let's go for this. We're talking about 8 plus the 9, that is 17. And we're going to add a 7. So that's going to give us 24. We put the 4, we carry the 2. The 2 plus the 8, that's 10. Plus the 2, that's 12. Plus the 2, this is 17.4 kilometers this time, right? So this journey is 17.4 kilometers. Double check it, everybody, and see if you're okay with that, right? So that one is 17. Now, if you remember, this question that we did up top is still related to this one. And that is why the question said, the next day, Mark makes a similar journey, but this time leaves from R and travels 5.7 back home. So we would have said, oh, the only difference is this. He went to R, he did not go to S, he just went back home. There it is, went back home. So we just add that new journey, add up these numbers, yeah? Yeah. And then that's that right there. And the response was 17. All right? That response was a 17. So then, so very good, Piper. Very good. So here's the deal now. Here's the deal. Let's go to the next question. In a bag, there are red and green marbles in the ratio 3:2. Respectively. When the word respectively is used, you're going to link the information to the new information in the same order. So we're talking about, let me highlight it. We're talking about red and green. So the red came first. That means that is for red and that is for green. So we want to make sure that we put them in the same order that they came when the word respectively is used. So we're talking about the marbles, red to green, 3:2. That means the proportional parts for red is 3 and for green it is 2. All right, so we want to look at that. Anybody wants to quickly work out that, you could drop your comments. I'm going to give you a little time to see if you could put together that for yourself and drop that answer there right about now. Drop in your answer if you think you could work that out as we go. So here's the thing. Question says, if there are 18 green marbles 18 green. So we're gonna have to focus on the green. We will have to focus on the link. There is a link statement connecting ideas. We got the fact that there's 18 green, and we know about the green parts. Green parts is, see there? The green parts is 2. So we're saying that green got 2 parts. So we have to look at that. Then that means there is a link between the 2 parts and the 18. So that is what we're going to use to help us to understand how to work out the total. So there are more than one way. So let us look first. Let us start off by saying there are 2 green. The ratio that we got is 2 parts, and that 2 parts produce 18 marbles. 2 parts, produce 18 marbles, because it just said here that the green is 2 parts and then there are 18. So you can link it and say, oh, 2 parts equal to 18. That means 1 part is equal to the 18 divided by 2. If you think about it, you say, but 1 part is 9 marbles. We say, yeah, 1 part is 9 marbles. And that is why 2 parts will give you 18 marbles. So now, if you want to work out the total marbles, now, if I know that 1 part is 9, then I probably want to find out the total parts in this math. It is 2 plus the 3 give us a total of 5 parts. How did I get the 2 and the 3? They told us from the beginning, right here, that we're dealing with 3 to 2. That means it's 5 pieces. So then, one way or you could work this out. So we're going to work this 2 ways. One way or we could work this out is to understand that if the total is 5 parts, then if the total is 5 parts, then I could say 9 times the 5. Why did I get 9? Because 1 part is 9. And I need 5 parts. So I'm going to say 9 times 5. Say, oh, 9 is 5, 45. That means we're dealing with 45 marbles. Overall. Now, we understand that there are 45 marbles. We could find it 2 ways. This is one of the ways that you could have found it. So I could say this is solution 1, because I'm going to show you another way to find the same answer. In your exam, you only need to use 1 way, but because we're learning, I'm giving you option. So if you don't like this way, you probably could say that, okay, there's another way you could have done it. Let us look at it. So another way that we could have done that same question was this. Now, if I understand that 1 part, that means, when I worked out and found out that 1 part equal 9. Remember, all I need to do now is to find the red part, because I know the green amount already. So because I know the green amount, I'm going to focus on the red parts. I'm going to say, oh, red marbles is equal to, remember red is 3 parts. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be 3 times the 9, and I will get 27. So I'm saying the red marbles would be a total of 27. So then if I want to find the total, I'm like, oh, total would be the 18 for the green plus the 27 for the red, and we'll get the same answer, 45 marbles. So you want to look at that. You could have worked it out that way. So this is what we'd call solution 2. So if you don't like the first way, definitely you could have worked it out the other way. All right. So there it is. There it is. 2 ways to work out that. You will get questions like this. All right. So look out. Everybody, the moment you come on, please subscribe to the channel and drop your likes there as well. Now, the question is here is asking, how many red marbles are there? Well, so we could see that the red marbles would be 18 because we just worked it out there. The red marbles, yeah. Red marbles is equal to 3 times 9, and that will give you 27, right? So the red marbles would have been 27. We worked it out already. So there it is, 27. Very good, 27. All right. Now, another thing that you have to focus on that is coming is number base. So we have to think about the number bases now. Number bases is actually coming. So we are thinking about the number bases, right? Now, what is the number base? Number base. So if you think you know this answer, go ahead and convert it. So what I see here coming is that we have to convert, want to convert between bases, or want to move between bases, right? So we have this figure here, 451 in base 10, and we want to change that to base 8. Remember that when you're changing from any base to base, when you're changing from base 10 to any base, remember, Dueno? Remember, if you are converting, I'm just writing this, if you are converting from base 10 to any other base, the idea, you will divide by that base. You will divide by that base. In this case, we're going to divide by 8. Now, when you divide, remember, it's the remainder that is going to be the answer. The remainder will be the answer. So it's the remainder that will be the answer. And you're going to read your answer a particular way. You will read your answer going up. Remember that. So there's only, this is what you have to remember. All right. So we're moving from base 10 to any base. We have to divide by that base. Keep the remainder, and then you read your answer going up, backwards. So we normally set up some columns. So I'm just going to set up some columns quickly. So I'll quickly just draw some lines. Just draw some lines. This is going to be my remainder column. I'm calling it R. All right. So we have the number, which is 451. And this is what I'm going to be dividing by. I will be dividing by the 8. So each time I divide, I'm going to write down what I get. So you have to know your timetable a little bit. All right. Have to know your timetable. But you could divide piece by piece. All right. All right. So, all right. So this is what we're going to do now. This is what we're going to do. We're going to divide by the 8. Ready? Now, the 8 into the 45, because remember, you know, we're going to divide the 8 into that. Take our time and work it. 8 into the 45, that's going to give us 5. And there is a, because 8, 5 is 40, so there's a little 5 that you're going to have to put beside this, yeah? And said, now 8 into 51, right? 8 into 51 is going to give you 6 times. But watch this now. 8 into 51 will give you 6 times there. So then, basically, yeah, when you're dividing, you're looking at that idea. So you're saying, I'm just helping you to divide piece by piece. So you'll say the 8 into the 45, that is 5, and you have a little remainder 5, because 8, 5 is 40, so there's a 5 there. So when the 5 go beside that 1, you read it as a 51. So 8 into 51 is 6 times. Why? 6, 8 is 48. So we're talking about those who can. So 6, 8 is 48. And then now we're saying, okay, 6, 8 is 48. So we have a remainder, right? What remainder do we have here? 3. All right, so you have a remainder of 3. Then now you're going to say 8 again into the 56. 8 into that 56. 8 into that 56, you know, is 7 times and no remainder. 7 times and no remainder. Draw your line. Then you're going to say 8 into 7, you can't. So you write back the 7 here. 8 into 7, you can't. You write back the 7 and you read your answer going up. And that's what we're saying. So the answer is 703 in base 8. So you move from 10 to 8. Let's check that out. Let's check that out. Are we there? Anybody want to drop a quick comment? Double check it quickly. Check your thing quickly, guys. See if you're up there. All right, so we look again. So we're saying 8 into the 540, we're gonna get 5, and you put your 5, 8 into the 6848, remainder 3. All right, so we get a 56 there, right? All right, very good. And then now 8 into the 56 is 7. So you have to know your timetable a little bit. And 7 and no remainder, and then 8 can't go into 7, so you have the 7. All right, so we're looking at that. So anybody, I don't see anybody double checking, so I'm going to have to push forward. So the answer is 708 in base 2. All right. Let's go. All right, let's check this one. All right, let's check that one right there. We're looking at converting 10101. All right, so we're looking at 10101. This is base 2 to 10. Now remember, when you're converting to base 10, you're going to write the table of the base that you're coming from. So that's the table. We're going to use the base 2 table. Depending on how you learn it, so I'm going to write 2 things here. You have been coming from, it's a base 2 table here. You have 2. All of them start with a 1, but it's like 2 to the 0, which is a 1. I'm just showing you the 2 idea. Then you have 2 to the 1, which means 2. Then you have 2 to the 2, which means 4. Then you have a 2 to the 3, which means 8. Then a 2 to the 4, which means 16. If you really look at this column though, you realize that you start at 1 and just keep doubling and you get out the base 2 table. So the base 2 tables, you start at 1 and then you start double, 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 double. All right. All right, I'll go back to the next one after. And then you start to double, double, double. All right, you double, you double. So then this is actually the base. I'll go back over the other one for you. So this is actually the table here. So you could leave this part of the table. This up here is, I'm just showing you how it came about. But you could start memorizing that. All you have to do is start at 1, then you double it. So you keep doubling and you get out the base 2 table easily by doubling. Then what you're going to do is to put the number in there, all of these. Start writing from the last number here, 1, then 0, then 1, and 0. So you write it in like that. Make sure all the numbers that you have, all 5, that means you needed 5 columns. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. You needed 5 columns. So when you get the 5 columns, you put them in the table. Then what you do is multiply and add up everything. For example, 16 times 1 is 16. This is going to be added to 8 times 0, which is 0, which is going to be added to 4 times 1, which is 4, which is going to be added to 2 times 0, which is 0, which will be added to 1 times 1, which is 1. So think about it. You multiply these numbers and you add them up. What are we going to be adding up? These numbers, 16, 4, and 1, because the others are 0. All right, so this is going to give me 21 in base 10, exactly. So somebody just wrote on the 21. Very good, very good, very good, very good. 21 in base 10. All right, 21 in base 10 there. All right. All right, let's go. All right, let's check this out. Let's check this one out. So everybody should. All right, right. All right, let's check the other one. Let's check the other one. All right, if you're moving, all right, so this one now, they want you to move from, my bad. They want you to move from base 8 to base 3. So anybody want to quickly run through that and let us see what you have? Anybody want to quickly run through that and let us see what you have? You want to move from any base to another base other than 10. Look, when you're moving from a base 8 to a base 3, please remember the common link to all base is base 10. So then you're going to have to move from base 8 to 10. Then you move from 10 to 3. Remember, the link is always through 10. So don't think that you can just move from 8 to 3. You can't. You're going to have to move from 8, yeah? 8 to 10, and then you move from 10 to 3. So let us deal with the 8 to 10. So this is the plan of action, you know. Whenever they're going to give you something like this, where you move from a base to another base other than 10, you would have to make sure that you go through 10. So guess what? We are going to say, we're going to move from base 8. So let me write it for you. That we want to move 532 from base 8 to base 10. We want to do that now. And you see, after we get it in base 10, then we're going to move it from base 10 to base 3. So that's the link. So let us look. So we're going to move it to base 10. Remember, as long as you're going to base 10, you know, you're going to have to write down the table for base 8. So it's going to be a 1, then a 8, then 64. Because did you know that the table for base 8 starts at 1 and you keep multiplying by 8? The table for base 10 starts at 1, you keep multiplying by 10. The table for base 5 starts at 1 and then you keep multiplying by 5. So if you catch that little idea, you're good. So in other words, every base starts at 1 and keep multiplying by itself to produce the next column. So hence I have 1, then 8, then 64. Why did I stop at 64? It's because it's only 3 digits that I'm working with. So I need to provide enough information so that I could write those 3 digits under the columns. That's all. So now that I have them, I'm going to multiply 64 times 5. We want to find out what is 64 times 5. That's 320. So this is going to give me 320. And we want to add that. Yeah. We want to add that to 8 times 3, which is 24. And you want to add that to 2 times 1, which is 2. So these are the numbers that we're adding up here. These are the numbers that we're adding up. So let's put it together. 320 plus 24 plus 2. And then the answer is equal to 346. But this is in base 10. Remember, the idea is that you're moving from base 8 to base 3. There is no direct link to that. So it means that you have to take the time to move from base 8 to base 10. And then you move it from base 10 to base 3. So we are at that section now where we're going to move it from base 10 now to base 3, and then we would have been finished. So let us look at that. Base 10 to base 3. I'm going to put it at the side. So we're going to base 3 now. So that is, so then you want to change 3, 4, 6. Yeah. We have the remainder here and base 3 here. So you're going to divide, keep the remainder. So 3 into itself, 1. 3 into 4, 1 times, and there's a little 1, but 3 into 16 is 5, and a remainder 1. We're focusing on the remainder. Then now we're talking about 315. So we said 3 again into 11. That is going to give us 3 times, because 3 3s is 9, remainder 2. So 3 into the 25, that's going to give us 8 times. 3 8s, 24, and a remainder 1 again. Then we still can divide by 3. 3 into itself, 1. But 3 into 8, that is 2 times and remainder 2. 3 again. 3 into 12 is 4 times and no remainder. We can go again. 3. 3 into 4, 1 time and 1 remainder. And then you say 3 into itself, 3 into the 1, we can't, and we'll put that 1 here. Remember, you read your answer going up. Read your answer going up. So then, my final answer is that this is the answer in base 3 right here. 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 1 in base 3. This is the final answer, but you always want to conclude for those who set the exam. This was the first piece of working out. This is the second piece of working out. So you want to write a quick conclusion here that, watch, I'm going to write back my statement and say, let me put it in black. 532 from base 8 to base 3 equals 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 1, base 3. So I'm here concluding, yeah, based on what I set out to do. I'm now concluding that this is my response. There it is. 532 base 8 to base 3 is 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 1. So the basic idea is that you divide. You divide, keep your remainder. Divide, keep your remainder. Divide, keep your remainder. All right, guys, you have to check. Read, you couldn't have gotten a 4 because in base 3, there is no 4. So you have to keep looking out. Trish Gay, double check that for me now, quickly. Double check it, Trish. And let's see what you got. All right. It's waiting for everybody to look at what they have. Let's look at what you have. All right, check if we make any error there. Ready to go again. All right, I don't think there was any. So just double check. Let's go. All right, good confirmation, Georgia. I just wanted somebody just to confirm because I'm seeing some different answers there. So I also wanted more people to work to see that, yes. All right, let's go at this other question now. So you can always go back and look at how you do those base because you're gonna get questions like that. So you're gonna get questions where you're moving like from a base 5 to a base 6, or you're moving from a base, 8 to a base probably 2. Remember that when you're moving from one base to another base, and it's not 10, you have to go through base 10, right? And then we looked at an example where we moved from a base to base 10. We also looked at an example where we moved from base 10 to another base. So you could always use that and help yourself going forward. All right, let us look at this question. This question says here that Delimath wants to buy a smart TV and it costs 272,000. The store tells her that through higher purchase, all right, she can get she can make a deposit of 100,000. So you make a deposit of 100,000. After that, you're gonna pay 15 monthly installments of 15,000. All right. So that is how it's going to go. You go in there, you see a TV, it costs you 200 and something thousand for it. Well, that's the price for it. You're not going to buy it. You're going to take it out and higher purchase. And then, okay, on higher purchase, you're going to make a deposit and then come back and pay some more money. Now, the question says, how much would Deli pay for the TV if he purchased it straight higher purchase, through higher purchase? Higher purchase is this. You need to know what the higher purchase idea is. Higher purchase, I'm going to call it HP, is to have a deposit down when you go to the place, plus what is called your amount payable. So it's your deposit down plus the amount payable. What is the amount payable? It's the amount you go back to pay from start, like when you went back. Remember, when you make a deposit that is different, you're going to come back next month and pay a certain money, and you're going to do it a certain number of times. If you add up all of that money, that amount of times, all of that, when you add that to your deposit, everything is called your higher purchase, and you're looking at it here. So what we want to do now is to put together some idea. This part was 100,000. That's the deposit that you made. Then you came back and said you pay 15,000, and you pay that 15 times. So we are thinking about putting together this idea, and that is going to give us our total for our higher purchase. Bear in mind, you have to bear in mind that you're going to have to carry out your multiplication. You can find easy ways to do your multiplication like this. If I multiply the 15 times the 15, when I'm done, I'm going to add 3 zeros at the back to it, right? Because since you're not working with calculators, you can find some little unique ways of carrying out the idea. So remember, it's 15 times 15,000, which means that we know that we're going to get 3 zeros at the end. So you multiply out this part, 15, so it's 5 times 5, 25. Carry the 2, 515. 515 plus 2, that is 7. Put a 0 here. 515, we get 15 right there. So when you add up this, you'll get 5, 2, 1, right? So you end up getting, hold on, 2, my bad, 2. This is 2. All right, you get 2, right? Because there's a 1 there. And then now we're saying that, remember, the thing that we're working out was actually 15,000 times the 15. So we are suggesting that you just put the zeros at the end for that, right? All right, so this is just a quick way to do stuff like this when you don't have a calculator. Or you could set it up and do the 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 if you want. But basically, I was just suggesting that you could multiply these and then you put back these zeros that you know will be at the back. All right, good. So those who multiply this, you're getting 225,000. So what it means then, you actually pay 100,000 plus 225,000 for the TV. So when you look at it, you pay 325,000 overall. This is what you paid for the TV on hire purchase. Hire purchase is always going to cost you more. A lot of people don't know, but it costs you a lot more. So it's just the convenience that works for you. That convenience. The fact that you could go there, don't have the money, and then end up getting it. Now, let us say that you never like how to work out the shortcut multiplication. Then you could do your long multiplication like this. You could say 15,000 times 15. Do it the regular way. 0 times 5, 0. 0 times 5, 0. 5 times 0, 0. And then now you say 5 times 5, 75. 25. So we put the 5, carry 1. 515, and that 2 is 75. Then now, when you come here, when you put a 0, you could say 1 times 0, 0. 1 times 0, 0. 1 times 0, 0. 1 times 5, 5. 1 times 1, 1. So you could do that still. And then you add 0 plus 0, 0, 0, 0, 5, 2, 2. So you could do it like this still. This okay. I was just giving like extra ideas. So you could work it out like this. And then you could see that it's the same number that you're going to be adding there. So when you had 100,000 to this, you would have gotten the same answer right there. All right. All right. Good, 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 good. All right. So that's your hire purchase. 325,000. Now the question says, what is the difference between the cash price and the hire purchase price? The difference between the cash price and the hire purchase price. All right, it should be TV here. Cash price and the hire purchase price of the TV, that smart TV, is that you're going to say 325,000 minus 272,000. So you're going to subtract the original price, the hire purchase price from the original price. You want to do that. And you're going to get yourself this. So let us work it out, because you don't have calculator. So you're going to set it up. You're going to say, all right, 325,000. And you're going to be subtracting 272,000. This one is your hire purchase, and this one is your cash price that we never had the cash to be. Subtract 0 from 0, 0. 0 from 0, 0. And from that, 0. 2 from the 3, right? And the 7 from that we can't, so we're going to borrow, carry 1. So 7 from the 12 is 5. So the difference between these is actually $53,000. So you would have paid $53,000 more because you bought it on hire purchase. All right, let's look at the other question. All right, so the other question says, an investor deposit 500,000 in a bank for 6 years. The bank has an interest rate of 5% per annum. What would be the interest made on the investor's money after 1 year? All right, so we're going back to after 1 year. All right, let's go. After 1 year. I think we could work out this. So it's going to be 5% of 500,000. All right, this looks like 25,000, but let's work it out. No, not this one. 25,000 times 6. Now, there is a way how you could work out this, right? So you're talking 5% of this, but it's going to go for 6 years. So there are 2 ways you could work this out. All right, there's a formula that you could work out. But remember now, the question wants you to work out the money after 1 year interest. So all you're going to do is just to work out this right now for 1 year. All right, this is just for 1 year. That's what this question wants. So we're going to find the 5% of the 500,000 to answer this part. So this is simply, look at 25,000 for this part. 5 over 100 times 500,000. We could see the canceling where 2 zeros cancels 2 0 0. So basically I have 5 times 5,000. 5 times 5,000 is 25,000. So we're saying that in 1 year, just 1 year, it would be 25,000 for that year. 25,000. Because you're just simplifying 5% of it. Now, how do we work out the next part? Let's see what they're asking for the other year. What will be the interest on his money after 8-year period? So this is for 1 year. The interest is going to be the same every year. So for 1 year, you get that. So you want to find 8 of this. You could do this for 8 years. There are many ways you can approach this, but because it's this simple type of interest you're doing, whatever I make for 1 year, I'm going to make it every year. So if you do this 8 times, you could just multiply this by 8. So we're saying that we could say, okay, I have 25,000 every year. So then for 8 years, it's 25,000 times 8. So you could take your time and you work out that. You're a long way because you're in grade 8, yeah? 25,000 times 8, you're gonna get about 200,000, right? So when you work this out, you'll get 200,000 over an 8-year period. You'll make 200,000. So over an 8-year period, you'll make $200,000. Now, this question says, how much money will Delhi receive from the bank in total at the end of 7 years? Now, you have to think about the question. The money you're going to receive from the bank will be your money, which is your principal, as in the money that you invested. So I'm going to call it invested money. Yeah, the money that you invested plus the interest you get. When you think about it, you're saying, yeah, but this is it. So then if I can work out the interest for 7 years, the question didn't ask for the interest though, but you need to work out the interest and add it back to the money that you started. So imagine that you put down 500,000 in the bank, huh? So it's gonna be your 500,000 plus the interest that you're going to get. So let us find the interest for 7. But remember, it's 25,000 per year you're making. So when we talk about 7 years interest, it's going to be that 25,000 times 7. You're going to make it 7 times. And then you're looking at $175,000. Now, if you're wondering how we multiply that regular, it's 25,000 times 7. 7 times 0, 0. 7 times 0, 0. 7 times 0, 0. 7 times 5, that's 35. 33. 7 2 is 14, and 3, 17. So it's 175,000. Now the total money is going to equal to the 500,000 that you would have from the beginning, plus the 175 that you call interest. It's going to equal to $675,000. So we're talking about looking at it. Say if you don't know how to work it out, you could work it out like this. 500,000 plus 175,000. Draw your line. 0, 0, 0, 5, 7, 6. So there it is, you would have gotten your 6. So you work out the things based on your own feel and your own understanding. All right, take your time and you break it down how you're comfortable working with it. But definitely you have to read. You have to read to see what the question is saying, the instruction that they give, and it will assist you as you put it together. Right? Will assist you as you put the things together right there. Total money. So with this total money that I'm referring to here is they're saying that at the end of 7 years, what it is that the bank would give you. You're going to get back your money plus the interest that the money earned. All together, you get that. So the ideas are not too big. Think about them, put it together, and you're good. All right, let's see what else would be coming. All right, there's an idea here. That means we soon, we'll soon finish. All right, this says we have some items. We have price for 1. So like you go into a store, you see the price for 1. We have a shirt, $320 for that. We have a shorts, $400 for that. Pants, $650 for that. Just like when you go